vehicles were totally controlled. We knew exactly who was on each one of those vehicles, where they were running, and they had it was very specific as to what they could do. It wasn't just anywhere in town or trails or anything, and it had a purpose for emergency purposes only is when they were used. So.
Okay, I understand.
But I realize what you're saying. Yeah, possibly you guys, the committees can set up another time that works better for you.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't you work through Al and see about setting up a meeting?
Okay.
Specifically to discuss that, and
or really anything. I mean, if you guys are, if you guys are open for discussion for the whole idea, that'd be great.
Okay.
All right.
I'm sorry, I didn't get your first name.
Paul.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have contact information, how to get a hold of you guys? Everybody does?
Yes.
Okay, you do that? Okay.
Just for reference, we went through a dozen iterations of schedules for this committee meeting in an effort to honor the discussion, just so nobody feels like they were slighted on the committee times. We tried different ways to put everybody together and have that conversation. And I apologize that we weren't able to do it other than a Friday morning at 9, and that's what it came down to for quite honestly, for the committee. But just so you're aware of that.
Understood. Thank you.
So we'll see what we can do. Anything else? Okay. We are to report state. Council members, since Dustin wasn't here last time, you get to start. You have anything you'd like to say?
Sorry for not making it. I was under the weather.
That's all right.
I have nothing at this time.
Okay. Austin?
I drove down from Minnesota and you were under the weather. I see how it is. Once again, I'm still up in Minnesota until the end of this week, so if anyone needs to contact me, emails are going to be the best bet. I apologize if I don't get back to you right away because I've been working 15-plus hour days while I've been up there. I actually just got back down here at about 5:30 this afternoon to make it to the meeting here. That's all I have.
Okay.
I got
Don?
nothing.
Carter?
Yeah, I got a couple things tonight. Since I wasn't here last month, I figured I better talk a lot
I want
tonight.
to say the guy here he actually had a law book, made me feel
Yeah.
good about
Right
reading
out
it.
I know.
front there.
I know,
Yeah.
he probably did. And I didn't send Heather because every time I send Heather places, they don't want me back.
Good for Heather?
Well, she winds up being too busy. But the thing that I want to talk about tonight is we've been having kind of a letter writing battle between ourselves and a bank in Texas. And this bank in Texas bought the paper from Tyler Technologies, and that's we have this kind of lease to purchase deal with Tyler Technologies, and they sold that paper to a bank. And the bank is kind of the innocent third party in this mix, and we stopped paying our monthly fee, but actually the obligation is to the bank and not to Tyler Technology. So we've done some research, and we think we're probably going to lose a lawsuit if we get into that with the bank, because the bank isn't in breach, it's Tyler Technology that's in breach. We have a duty to mitigate our damages, which means we have a duty to make our damages as small as possible before we sue Tyler. And so we're going to recommend at the next meeting that we pay the bank the $16,000, and then at that point either sue Tyler Technologies or not. When I first started this action, I was thinking that that amount was bigger than $16,000, and then looking back on it, I'm not sure why I thought that, but that's my mistake. The concern I have in proceeding to sue Tyler Technologies is that, not that it wouldn't be a good lawsuit, but I think it might be a good lawsuit for me and not for the city. And the reason is, I'm going to probably chew up at least about 100 hours of Barb's time, is the way I figure it. Barb is an hourly, her cost to the city is about $50 an hour. when you figure in all her benefits and whatnot. And on top of that, I'm probably going to put in a couple hundred hours of time on it. Well, that's another big chunk of money. And so by the time you put those two numbers together, you're in excess of $16,000. So it may be one of these deals where I say at the end, hey, this is a great result. Look at this wonderful victory. You have $16,000 and some change, or maybe a little bit more. We may be able to measure our damages a little bit greater because there's some incidental damages that Barb had to go through to back when we were in breach over a year ago. So the damages may be greater than 16. But if that's all they are, I might present you with a bill that's pretty hefty, and then you've missed Barb for 6 to 8 months for up to maybe 100 hours, and I just don't think it's cost effective. So I guess my view is, and I'm going to recommend that not only that we pay Tyler Technologies, but I'm going to recommend that we lump the $16 as a $16,000 as a bad experience and not jump into litigation against Tyler.